so I'm going to start with an icebreaker question just to kind of get things going, right? Okay. First question for you. Do you have a favorite costume designer, fashion designer that inspires you?
It's difficult. I confess to being a bit of a magpie, so no pun intended in my name. But I pull from all sorts of references. I mean, there are fashion designers I come back to time and time again. I mean, really obvious ones like Westwood and McQueen and Valentino and Galliano, all the theatrical ones, because they're sometimes good prompts just because they're so theatrical that sometimes you go, oh, maybe I'm being a bit boring, and they're a good thing to look to for that. I don't look at other costume designers very much, though I really admire the work of many. But yeah, I think I mainly work from original source as much as possible.
It's always a hard question because I take inspiration from, so many different people who have such a great breadth of work. But the late Aiko Ishioka is a fashion designer as well as a production designer, costume designer. And I remember seeing her work for the fall as a high schooler. And that was kind of like, that was it for me. I saw her work for that and I was like, wow, this is what costume design can be, because it's so colorful, bold, and playful, and those are all elements that I try to incorporate in my designs.
That is such a tough question because I could probably talk about this for like 2 hours. But right top of my head, we've got to look at the person who just won the Oscars for Best Costume Designer, Jenny Beaven, and she has to be one of my favorites. And the reason why she's one of my favorites is she's truly a chameleon at her gift at designing costumes. You look at Corella, you look at Mad Max Fury, you look at Alexander, you look at the Nutcracker, you look at Swing Kids, and those are just a few examples of her work and the diversity and her ability to think out of the box and create just these magnificent costumes. And I love her for her standing up for who she is as a costume designer and wanting costumes designers to be equal with everyone else in the industry. And I have a huge respect for that, and I admire her very much for her craftsmanship, and I look up to her as a female leader as well.
Yes, I do. I really love Jenny Bevan because who doesn't? She's amazing. I really like Anne Roth. In particular, the two of them because their designs always end up looking very organic with the actors, but very special because I think they always add an element of what I call something off. And so I think that's how people are. And they really find that with the work that they do. I also really love Jeffrey Curlin because I just see him as such a bold designer. And, he's he execute his vision in such a bold manner and really kind of doesn't hold back and is so confident in it. And you can see it on screen with everything that he does.
Excellent answer. I love how you say about how it being like just slightly off. I love that because that's real, right? It feels
Yeah.
real. Huge fan of
Yeah.
Jenny Bevan, by the way, too.
Right.
Okay, next question.